Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is Marvel Movie News, bringing you the most up-to-date discussion and commentary within the Marvel Universe.
All right. Hello, Marvel fans, and welcome to another edition of the Marvel Movie News, where we break down all the Marvel movie news from all the studios and tell you why you should be as excited as we are.
Yes.
Yes, we are broadcasting to you live from the Danger Room. You can visit us on Facebook. We're still at Marvel News for Marvel fans. Like us. Are we changing? Are we going to change the name?
We are going to try. Facebook has weird, like once you reach X amount of fans, it's hard to petition to change your name.
Facebook. Way
but
of
we
the
only
future.
have like 1,000. I'm almost tempted to just create a new one.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to make anyone move over. We've already got so much history. Yeah, we've got so much history on that page. I think we're going to keep it
on Facebook.
Find us on Facebook, Marvel News for Marvel fans. We're also on Twitter at Marvel Schmoes. You can also find me at the Matt Key.
Find me at M Placco.
At Matt Cook tweeted.
You can also find us on YouTube or on iTunes underneath the Popcorn Talk Network banner, which we are now proudly a part of.
Yes.
Please don't forget to subscribe and rate us on iTunes. It keeps us coming back to you every week. So, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's just get into it. So there's not a whole lot of big news. There's
no,
nothing to really talk about.
Yeah, it was a really quiet week, actually.
Really quiet week. We covered it all last week.
Yeah, last show was great. We got those two breaking news.
There was that one thing.
Well, we talked about the Kristen Ritter thing.
We talked about Kristen Ritter. We talked about Deadpool being Ryan Reynolds and Hit Monkey. That was a lot of fun.
Hit Monkey.
But then there was that one thing that I think it came out like 26 minutes after we finished recording.
That little bit of news.
That little bit of news that Benedict Cumberbatch is confirmed to play Doctor Strange.
That's right.
That one
Finally.
Little.
I don't know how to do the show now that we know.
I know.
I mean, it's been such a constant since the first day. It's like Doctor Strange. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And then all these other things have come out before that.
Yeah.
And it's been this like constant. It's like the end of an arc for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's our first trade has been put in. It's like the quest for Strange. The Strange quest, maybe. Right?
This is our mid-season.
There he is.
Mid-season break.
The good doctor. Yeah. Officially.
So this is our Doctor Strange, which by the way, I just have to point out this beautiful time cover shot by photographer Dan Winters, because he's an amazing photographer. And also, I'm going to eat my words here in a little bit. I've been teasing it all week. I saw The Imitation Game.
The Imitation?
Yeah.
The Invitation Game. Who's going to get invited?
It's a game. Everyone's playing it.
Well,
sorry,
I hate you guys. I'm done. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to.
You saw the Invitation Game.
We want to hear.
No, it's fine. Nobody cares.
We do care. We care so much. We were making jokes about it.
So I'm going to eat my words.
I love this.
I actually really like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Because of the Imitation Game?
Yes, he was phenomenal. Now, that being said, I did not see any ounce of what Doctor Strange could be from him in that.
Yeah.
But he completely changed my opinion of him as an actor.
Wow.
Because I have not enjoyed Sherlock. I thought it was a little weird and forced and quirky, but that also is my issues with Stephen Moffat and a lot of the writing behind Sherlock.
Yeah.
I could not stand him as Khan. I thought a lot of that was kind of hokey and he overplayed that part. But again, I think that was due to direction. But after watching this, he is phenomenal. He is a great actor. And again, while he took on a role that I see no sense of what he could possibly bring to being Doctor Strange other than being British, which he's not.
Doctor Strange is
not British.
I hope when Strange comes out, it makes you hate him again.
I know. But I was really, really impressed by the acting job in that and his ability to transform into this character. Because so I'm a huge fan of a lot of like spy World War II stuff, and the fact that he's playing Alan Turing, who dealt a lot with the Enigma machine, which you see one of those over there. I find it absolutely fascinating, and the fact that he was able to bring to life one of these real life heroes that I've always been fascinated with. I fell in love, and I was like, okay, I'm not like what you would call a Cumberbatch by any means. I just think he's a great actor, and now I'm excited. You now
respect him, and you're excited to see what he does.
I very much respect him, and I think it's going to be great to see how he brings his own gravitas into that role, because I don't know if we're going to see a weird, quirky kind of I think we're going to see a serious character.
That's one of the things is that even Jarvis on because I picked him up and brought him into the studio today because I'm a nice man.
Jarvis, did you ask him to do that, or was that?
No,
did he come grab you?
I forced him into my car.
All right.
I was like, let's get there early.
No nicer men than the kind that throw you into their car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These are the things that as a young lady I'm warned about.
Me too, as a young lady, I'm nervous.
He told me he was going to take me to Dave & Buster's, and then we ended up here.
Sorry.
The cruelest game.
Talk about imitation.
So you guys came in together.
Car
ride here.
I forgot what I was going to say.
All right. Well, I don't care. What do you think about Benedict?
No. So he was saying.
Well, what actually can Jarvis tell us what he was saying?
He's still gagged.
Oh my god.
No, he was asking if Doctor Strange is a really quirky character or a grounded character, and my answer was he's a very grounded character in a very quirky world. Like he trips through like these weird quirky dimensions, but he's like, oh, look at that over there. Yes, hoary host of Hoggoth.
He's pretty humorless.
He kind of has no humor, which is why Benedict is perfect for him. Because we all know Benedict has no humor to him.
I don't.
I didn't say that.
Yeah,
Benny.
I didn't say that. I didn't. I mean, I hear he's really personable, and I hear he's really actually great to work with.
Yeah,
but,
I've heard the same.
Yeah,
but I do think he's going to be. I was disappointed when Joaquin was not doing it because you sold me on him. You really sold me on him. I was excited to see him. Then he turned it down, and when Benedict came back into the talks, I've always been excited to hear Benedict say by the hoary host of Hoggoth, or by the Vishanti, or by the winds of Watum.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be
by the crimson bands of Sitarak.
What do you want to see? What do you want out of the film? Just quickly.
I want to see how they. I mean, they're talking about doing the extra dimensional stuff. I want to see how they're doing extra dimensional stuff, and I want to see what magic looks like in the world, because we've seen what it looks like to see Captain America throw his shield, and we've seen what repulsor blasts look like, and we've seen the cosmic side of things. We've seen Celestials now on screen.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen Howard the Duck. We've seen amazing things that Marvel's brought to life, but they still have not done anything with magic.
Well, and it seems like Scarlet Witch is going to open that door a little bit in Avengers 2, and then Benedict's going to come in and kick the door down, hopefully.
Boom! Well, here's some magic.
Yeah, it's hard to say if they're going to make Scarlet Witch magic-based or humans-based. So.
Right.
Well, but she kind of walks like a weird line.
She does,
like, she walks a weird line.
In the comics,
is she magic? Is she a mutant? Like,
they can change that all because of what words they own and what words they don't.
Yeah, very true. And that's what I want to see. I mean, what do you guys want to see out of it, or do you know Strange well enough to even make that call?
You know, I don't, because a lot of my Doctor Strange tie-ins are to where he pops in with the X universe. So like currently, Magic has been kind of going back into time and studying and training with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, which is cool.
It was actually just released in the comics. She's the new in the like 2099 verse. She is the
Sorcerer Supreme,
and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Ilyana Rasputin,
which I mean is it makes a good legacy sense. But he is such an interesting character when he does pop up. I would like to see a little bit of maybe not a full origin story like Batman Year One type origin, but I'd like to see a little bit more background, because we know how Tony Stark came to be, we knew how Captain America came to be, and the original, like the initial movies, the part ones do tend to be a little bit origin story, and I'd like to see that. Like as a newcomer to his property, I would like to see how he at least gets his powers.
And I think that's most of the world, so I think it'll most certainly be origin-based stuff. And again, I think I said this at one time. I watched the animated film that's on Netflix right now, the Doctor Strange movie.
It's not bad.
And its origin, I really liked it, and it made me excited to see that. I think what I'm most interested in is the humble pie that'll probably be served to Stephen Strange, and watching him rebuild and refocus and find out his purpose and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what balance they work, because you already have like the wealthy playboy billionaire, which is Tony Stark, and I think that's where Strange starts.
He starts off as a wealthy millionaire surgeon, yeah,
right? He's like
who like has like a total god complex until he breaks his hands,
right? And everything he knows falls apart. Yeah, I'm interested. I don't know. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see the cloak. I hope he gets the cape.
What do we got, Jatarvis? You got the gag out?
Yeah, I'm good. Real quick.
Thanks.
Now, I'm not very well known with Doctor Strange, as I said.
You're not well known with him?
Doctor Strange doesn't know you very well?
He doesn't really know who you are?
We don't know each other.
That's a shame.
He's a nice man. And a little strange.
Is there a key villain? Yeah. Is there one villain like
Dormammu?
Yeah.
That is the main villain for
That's
him.
the main villain. Yeah, that's his big villain.
See him in this movie?
Well, it's Dormammu, Nightmare, or Baron Mordo. Those are the top 3 for him, I would say.
What do you think? What are the odds on seeing one of them? Or all of them?
Well, everything that I've read about what they're doing with the movie is that it's going to be like this interdimensional, like tripping kind of like trippy movie.
So we could kind of see all these villains.
So it's possible that you'll see a lot of them. I think most likely there will be like Carl Mordo. Like that's the most evil name ever. Let's just be honest. Carl, like the big bad is Carl Mordo. But he's a student along with Doctor Strange and the Ancient One and the hidden temple in the Himalayas, and that like he is almost as powerful as Doctor Strange. He just doesn't have the amulet or the cloak of levitation because he's not the Sorcerer Supreme. But he ends up teaming up with Dormammu in the comics, and I think they call it the Eternity Saga, and it's one of the biggest. It's actually considered by some comic book historians to be the first graphic novel ever written, because it covered about 20 different issues. Eternity's brought into it, like it goes everywhere. It's this broad, expansive story that Stan Lee and Ditko did. And I think that we could see Dormammu in it. I'm expecting to see Dormammu.
So they trained in a hidden city in like the Himalayas, right?
Yeah.
Is that the same city as Iron Fist?
Yeah.
No, but I want it to be
really close together. Do you think they like kind of overlap a little bit? And like strange garbage comes from one city into the other, and they're both hidden from each other, and they're like, where does this keep coming from?
Where does this keep coming from?
And the neighbors in the city are getting in fights with each other, and like I swear that's not. I've never even seen that type of fabric. Yeah. That must come from some other hidden city.
That must come from some other hidden city.
Like there's another hidden city in these mountains that would train another superhero. What are you talking about? You're being a jerk, Roy. And they get into a fight, and you know what I mean? It would be terrible.
Get out of here, Danny Rand.
You have this already scripted out. Like
I don't.
How this is gonna go.
It sounds good though. You should write it.
I'll write it up. Check out my new web series called The Hidden Cities of the Himalayas. I'm gonna animate it all by hand, and it'll take me
25 years.
No, I'll get it done this afternoon.
Be a travel
think so?
show, like a travel and food
show. Like there's one guy who keeps showing up and like learning different mystic arts from different cities.
Oh my god, that would be amazing to do a travel show with the hidden cities of the Marvelverse.
Yeah. And then they like spin it off, and like Guy Fieri's walking around trying mystic pig.
Yeah, and he can go down to like Atelian and eat some Inhuman.
Yeah,
and he can eat some Kree.
Meet the Kree and the Inhumans of Adelan on the blue side of the moon.
Be great. Check it out on the Food Network.
Yeah. Coming to you live from the Food Network. So Dormammu is the main bad guy. He's the demon lord of the Dark Dimension and is a being of amazing power. He's got a flaming head.
I was like, he's a little Ghost Rider.
But he was Ghost Rider before Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
So he's from 1965.
I fought him a lot in Marvel vs. Capcom.
I've never played that game. I've heard it's amazing. Yeah.
I still like the second one. It's better than I think. I mean, the third one that came out was really fun and it looked great, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes.
New Age of Heroes.
It's the best.
Hey, Jatarvis, did I answer your question enough, or do you have more?
I'm gonna have to do a little more study on my own. Maybe read some comics. But is there anyone like a certain actor like Sheila? He does kind of like Ghost Rider.
Who, Dormammu?
Yeah.
We're gonna get Nick Cage.
Do you need somebody like famous?
Chris Evans can do it.
Well, you know what?
He can play everything.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this later, but Pacino wants to do Marvel, and he was what was it, the Happy Sad Confused podcast, Josh Horowitz, where he said, "Yeah, I've met with the Marvel guy. I met with the Marvel guy." That's the quote that he said. I think he would play an amazing Dormammu.
Oh.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah,
Little devil's advocate going back.
Like do some mocap, have like a flaming head. Like,
you know who I think he'd be great at?
No.
Jason.
Oh.
What a cool idea that would be, right?
Wow.
As that nasty king.
Oh my god.
Like who's just kind of drunk
Yeah.
with power and put Chris Pratt in his place and all that. You know what I mean? Like that would be really cool.
That would be really cool.
For those who don't know, in the comic books, Jason is king of Spartax, and he's Star-Lord's father.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty big jerk. Like
giant jerk.
He really doesn't care about anything but his empire, and he's building it and all that stuff.
And he wants to destroy Earth.
Yeah.
Because he thinks Earth is like a backwater.
Yeah.
Like he describes Earth as like a backwater hillbilly sort of like just a bunch of people with shotguns just blowing things away. Like
let's pave over it, put up a strip mall.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he sees it. But I don't they're not planning to have Jason in the movie,
I know,
right?
but maybe he'd be great in like royal Spartax garb and like sitting on a throne and like I don't know.
He would be great. He would be great. So, anyway, Jitarvis, I think that Pacino would play a great Dormammu personally because he would need that sort of like evil gravitas. That threat. And I think Pacino would play that really well.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
that's another character. That character would look crazy.
Dormammu?
Yeah, he's a crazy looking character.
I would just love to see how Marvel brings that about because they've been so good at keeping everything grounded. Even with like Guardians, it's like how many aliens did you see? And everything looked so real and put together that I feel like if they were to do Dormammu, they probably wouldn't do Flaming Skull all the time, but that would be like when during the final battle something like that would happen.
Oh man, I think he would be a Flaming Skull the entire time.
Really? I don't think so. I think
I think Marvel wants to push it with Doctor Strange. Really? Yeah. I think they really do. Like, I think Kevin Feige's a giant Doctor Strange fan, like from everything he's said. And if he's anything like me, I don't want to see him ever not have a flaming head.
See, but to me, I would want to see Al Pacino bring to life a character, not just mocap. So I think if you know, in the perfect world, if we get this fan casting, I would actually like to see him play a version of Dormammu that we can
like a human version where he appears to Strange,
of him, which would be neat. And then in the cosmic verse, he's got
I could get behind that. Yeah. I could get behind that
because I do kind of like the separation of and I think it's just something from reading a lot of stuff with magic and limbo that when the demons are in limbo, she has her specific limbo form versus the earthly form, and I almost like that separation because as a reader, it kind of brings more grounded reality to me. Yeah. But I would like to see my call for Pacino. I know I was joking earlier and saying I would like to see him as Purple Man, but then we were talking, I'd really like to see him as Kang.
Oh, he would be a great Kang.
Yeah.
Like, talk about like Marvel Phase 4.
Yeah.
So Kang the Conqueror, real quick, go.
Kang the Conqueror, I also think he would be in, like, just imagine just his head, Ego the Living Planet.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say MODOK.
No, MODOK is another one that I want to see. Like,
perfect.
He would be an amazing MODOK, but just to picture his giant floating head as Ego the Living Planet.
For sure.
Which I wish I had a picture to go on screen.
Yeah, check out Ego the Living Planet. He's a living planet. He's just a big face. But Kang the Conqueror, who is that?
Kang the Conqueror.
One of the Avengers' oldest.
He's one of the first big foes, and he is a time traveler who, I really don't know a whole lot about him except that, like, there's also a version of him called Immortus, like the younger version of him where he's not as evil. But Kang the Conqueror is like a time traveling man from what century? I can't remember what century.
Like something far.
Like that.
Way in the future.
Yeah.
And he just wreaks total havoc on the Avengers all the time.
Yeah. He's a tough guy. So
and
that'd
like
be cool.
with all the technology, so like Tony Stark's like, I've got Iron Man technology, and he's like, I'm 5,000 years in the future for that technology.
That's pencil and paper to Kang.
Good work, Tony Stark. Good try. Yeah, and he's conquered them a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of... Oh,
you know what?
Even right after the Dark Angel thing and X-Force, Kang
showed
up. What was the name of that story?
I don't remember.
That Remender was doing. Man, I can't remember.
He did some good stuff. Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which I believe is also on Netflix right now.
It is. Oh my God,
it's a great series for anybody who's looking for something to watch. Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
That is fantastic.
One of my absolute favorites.
Yeah, I had a blast with that. I was sad when they canceled it.
Me too.
You know what else was good? Wolverine and the X-Men.
I really loved Wolverine and X-Men.
I loved it.
I loved how they brought.
It was only one season, but it was.
But their characterization of Emma and Kitty were fantastic.
Yeah.
In it was a lot of fun. It reminded me of, it wasn't exactly the animated series.
Yeah.
But it was for that era, it was way better than X-Men Evolution.
Yes.
Yeah.
So agreed. I miss it. Okay.
Anyway,
so,
speaking of X-Men and stuff. Magneto.
Oh, right. Right, so
so we're gonna get into a little bit comic book spoiler territory, and that goes into some speculation for Marvel.
So if you haven't read, what is it, Axis number 7?
It's Axis number 7, and some of the subsequent tie-ins this week. Sorry, I just heard talking. I was like, "What? The voice of Al Pacino."
It's Ego the Living Planet.
I know, he's coming for us. So what axis has been going on? It's they had the head of Charles Xavier stolen by the Red Skull, who has created the Red
What are you laughing
I
Onslaught.
love that Al's still here. He's going to
I
stick
know.
around for the rest of the
So
show.
stoked.
Sorry, it made me laugh.
And
Sorry, Meredith.
what's happened is all the villains have turned good in the comic Marvel verse, and all the good guys.
Not all of them.
Not
A
all, but
selection.
A good majority that were on Genosha when
yeah.
this happened. And what happened is Scarlet Witch is now one of the bad guys, where Magneto, who's been kind of walking the line for the past couple of years, he's starting to really feel like guilt and want to push this goodness. So him and his son Pietro Quicksilver have been working together to try to stop Scarlet Witch. And Scarlet Witch comes and does not utter the word "no more mutants," but she basically utters "no more family" or "no more blood ties." And she calls out a spell to the gods of chaos to render all of the Maximoff blood generation dead.
So let's see. Does she say it here?
No, it should be the next panel.
It's the next panel.
But she says,
there we
"You're
go.
not my father." Yeah, and she says, "End of the line." And what happens is Quicksilver does not recover from this, but Magneto is not affected.
Yeah, Magneto
at
doesn't
all.
get zapped at all.
To insinuate that Magneto is not the father of Wanda and Pietro, which would
So Quicksilver is indeed the brother, but Magneto
is not the
a
father.
known mutant. Is not the father.
What does that have to do with it?
Fox.
Yeah.
Oh.
It
This
solves the mutant problem.
Got it.
She basically says no more mutants for the MCU.
Yeah.
And now it kind of creates a new tie-in for Marvel Comics to go along the lines with the MCU. So we might, I don't know if they're going to keep, I mean, we know they're mutants insofar as that Cerebro's found them. I don't think that there's too much history that you can't really retcon them.
You couldn't retcon all of that, but you can a couple of key characters retcon a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though they've got what, like 60 years of history. Of being, because that was.
But it's always been murky. It's always like, you know, be like.
It was this one, where Quicksilver and Wanda.
Yeah.
And X-Men #4.
Yeah, but I was saying, but Magneto's lineage has always been called into question, even with Polaris specifically, because. Even
they handled that in X Factor, right? Yeah.
Well, and that was one of the first storylines is that she has magnetic powers like her dad, but we don't ever know if it's really her dad.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting that Marvel is choosing to do this now, with the films coming out next year, and I think they really do want to start differentiating themselves from Fox.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is their way of trying to steal back those characters from Fox. Yeah. So. But
I'm curious for our viewers out there who also are up to date on comics. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this. This is something like I actually am really torn about, and I haven't actually quite decided if I like it or not. So I'd love to sit and do like a chat with some of our viewer readers about this, because it has major implications.
It is kind of interesting, you know, because it's like, in one way, it's like we want the comics to continue being the comics, and we like watching the movies. But like when the politics start to invade the literature, it's just like, I just want to enjoy.
I just want to enjoy my.
So.
But it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I guess it depends on where they're going to go with this.
Yeah.
Like how is Marvel?
It's interesting. It's a big move. I mean, that's a big deal. Well, and Quicksilver's just dead.
As far as we know, yeah.
And Scarlet Witch is not.
Nope.
Well, I don't think she killed Quicksilver. She just like.
I refrain from posting the next panel for super spoiler alert, but he is on the ground and Magneto's trying to wake him up. And
because we like the one of the variant covers for the new Uncanny Avengers coming out is Wanda and Pietro on the front with no more mutants painted behind them. So maybe she undoes. I don't think he's dead. I don't think he's dead,
mutant powers.
That's interesting.
That would be the second time that's happened to poor Quicksilver.
Oh my God.
Poor
Wanda,
Quicksilver.
come on, get it together.
She is crazy.
I want to know from listeners and viewers too, what was your team in Marvel vs. Capcom 2? That's been bugging me. Just put that up too.
What was your team?
I always did Cable was my big guy. I loved Sentinel. And I usually brought in, I think Cyclops. I think I did the father and the son.
Doctor Strange is in that game, right?
I don't think he's in the second one. I think he's in the third one.
Third one, okay.
But Cable, Cyclops, and Sentinel all had great super combo. Like you would blast the whole screen. It was a great and I was great. I was good at that.
Yeah.
I think that's my team. I know Cable for sure.
Yeah.
Scimitar.
I did always love playing with the Sentinel whenever I've played.
Yeah,
like
Rocket
I didn't
Punch.
play. Yeah, I didn't play consistently, but I loved
it.
Well, he was kind of a nice OP character to play. Like he was, you have your heavy with the Sentinel. I really liked it.
It was great. My friend left his Sega Dreamcast at my house one summer. He's like, "You play it more than I do. You might as well hold on to it." And it was like that and one other game that I never played.
That's awesome.
So that's all I did.
Here's one. I was at an art show at Hero Complex last Friday, and it was a arcade themed art show, and they also had a bunch of old arcades there.
That's
and
so
apparently there was a X-Men versus Street Fighter game, which I have never heard about.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I played it, and it was super freaking rad. But I'm like, how have I never heard of?
No, you know what?
X-Men
I think I have heard of
versus
it.
Street
It was
Fighter?
one of the first ones.
Yeah.
That's what led to all the other stuff. And
Yeah,
they're like,
I
we
had
want more than just X-Men.
No idea. So
I think I
That's
played
awesome.
that.
it was really awesome.
But you know what you should do, listeners, is download the X-Men arcade game if you've got an Xbox.
Yep.
I don't know if you can do it with the PS4, but I know with Xbox.
You can get the classic arcade game. It's so good.
X-Men.
Yep. And there's also a new, for iPhone, I think it might just be iPhone, but there's a new Marvel Battle of Champions or something like that.
I've heard really
It's a
good
new
things
game. I
about
played it for like 5 minutes today. I really like it. It's like a Mortal Kombat type thing. It's like real tap. I don't really like the tappy stuff on the iPhones, but it's really well done.
Nice.
And seems really
You're
intuitive.
like the
and
third person in 2 days has mentioned this
Really?
to me. Yeah.
Check it out. And I'm still so hooked on that Spider-Man runner. I love it. Speaking of Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Let's jump over to Sony, where Sony very kindly released this news of their own accord.
Yeah.
They were like, hey guys, we just want to let everyone know we're going to publish these emails on your behalf.
Give them to WAPO. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it.
So thanks to the Sony leak, we've had some probably embarrassing emails for some people, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, there were some really not
There were
so
some-
great things
there were some
that came
doozies
out
in
of
there.
that.
Yeah.
But that's relevant to our news.
But relevant to us is that Sony, as I think we've said on this show before, has no clue what they're doing with Spider-Man. Like they're reaching for everything. At one point, they had an animated comedy that they had pitched from the Lego Movie guys. Did you hear about?
No, I didn't hear about that. But I love the Lego Movie. Those
No,
guys
the
are
Lego
great.
Movie's so good.
Yeah.
Like so good. But I don't know if I want to see an animated Spider-Man comedy.
Unless it was a cartoon. If it were a cartoon, I could probably get behind it. But even then, but no.
Like a Big Hero 6 kind of thing. Like what were they thinking? Like.
I mean, knowing Sony, it would have been like aimed at 8-year-olds, not like it would have been like, silly jokes, like probably fart jokes. Let's just, it wouldn't have been like a witty.
Like Spider-Man's farting webs or
yeah,
something
exactly.
like that.
I feel like it would have been like not anything that anyone else.
Not very clever, but it's the Lego Movie guys. They could have done a good job with
I'm
it.
a huge Spider-Man fan, and
Spiderman?
Spiderman. Is that what I said?
No, it's Spiderman.
Spiderman.
Yeah.
I love Mr. Spiderman. And I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I always have been, but it's never been for comedy. So I get a little nervous. Like, I think the newest Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, that's on it's the cartoon right now.
Yeah.
It feels more like a Deadpool cartoon to me.
Yeah.
It's all that stuff, and I don't like it. Like, I don't want, if it's a Deadpool cartoon, let it be Deadpool cartoon. But like the breaks of the fourth wall, the crazy animation, like it feels like Deadpool. And that's never what I liked about Spider-Man. What I like about Spider-Man is the sacrifices that he makes every day to do the right thing, and how it, how he does the right thing. Like, that's what's cool. That's what's exciting.
And
that's
he
what I
has
want in a
wit.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, and I
superhero.
think
And
that's
it's all
the
there.
problem.
It can be there. It can be the spice on top. He should be funny, but he's never been a comedian. Like, more than anything, it's just people, heroes and villains, when they're fighting with or against Spider-Man, they're like, just shut up. He's motor mouth. He's not a stand-up comedian.
And I think that's the problem, is that people they take witty and think comedy, and it's not. It's not that.
It's not.
And it can be. I mean, you can make Spider-Man funny, but that shouldn't be, for me, I don't like when it's, I mean, that was my first problem. We talked about this, or maybe it was, I don't know, but I talked about in the first Axis, the first two Axis, the comic book that's out right now, it was just all quips from every hero. It was like, wah, 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 wah,
it didn't
wah.
feel,
there was
it didn't
no
feel right,
sense of like urgency with a giant onslaught, Red Skull hybrid, whatever. It was just like joke. And I didn't laugh at any of them.
Yeah, it was almost like Marvel said, hey, remember, you're a little too serious. Why don't you add a joke or two?
Right. And he's like, I'll show you. You know what I mean?
I'll show you jokes, Marvel.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any big interest in a Spider-Man comedy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what turned off the dark was. I know, me either, but which is good.
Just to show like how Sony is just like, I don't know, whatever. Like they've considered the animated comedy from the Lego guys, Lego Movie guys. They also we're considering a female-led spin-off of some sort, and that, I mean, we heard that.
About that.
Yeah, we heard about that.
Spider-Gwen's pretty great.
It is.
Yeah.
In the comics, and like
the
that
whole
character
Spider-Verse
design is amazing.
That whole Spider-Verse thing is just
pretty fun.
out of control.
It's brutal.
In a good way.
Yeah. I'm 2 weeks behind in it right now. I haven't been able to catch up, but
it's brutal.
And an email to Amy Pascal from Sony Pictures president Doug. He suggests Doug Belgrad. Doug, I talk like we're good friends. Doug.
Doug.
You know Doug. Doug Belgrad. He suggested a possible possible scenario with Marvel producing a new trilogy of Spider-Man movies while Sony retains creative control, marketing, and distribution.
Which sounds like a fair. Sounds fair.
Does it? So like this would be here's basically what would happen. Sony would say, "Hey Marvel, do this. Do it this way. No, this way.
Right.
No, this way. No, this
But
way.
I don't think
Let's put it out. Money.
It wouldn't really go that way. It wouldn't actually.
Well, but that's what they're
happen.
saying though, with Sony retaining creative control, marketing, and distribution. Like,
I think
marketing and distribution and the
fine.
studio model is the first to get paid, so they're getting the biggest chunk of money no matter what. Marvel did all the work in producing it, and Sony still got to maintain creative control. Like, if that was actually offered, Marvel would have been like, no.
Right? But I still think like it still would have given Marvel the rights to use Spider-Man in the way that they want to in Marvel's own films.
In the way that Sony wants them to.
Yeah, but
that's the thing.
I don't know.
Creative control, and it's
I know,
all the
but
Spider-Man movies I don't like.
No, but I really think if that were to happen, if that scenario was what played out, they would have probably trusted Marvel, because that's the problem, is they don't know what the heck they're doing.
I would hope so.
They would
I would hope
like,
so, yeah.
But they probably just want final say.
Also, the big news was that one of the emails confirmed that Marvel actually did contact Sony via email, wanting to include Spider-Man in their planned third Captain America movie, which we all know now is Civil War.
But we got Black Panther, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm sad about
Spider-Man, sure, but I think Black Panther will fill that role really well.
I agree.
You know?
I think,
and there's more at stake too, because now they're fighting over the a nation's loyalty and the technology of that nation, instead of just
a guy on the street,
a witty, quippy,
right. And I didn't like
Spider guy.
I didn't like Civil War when I read it, and I actually just found my issues of it, and I was like, I didn't like it. And I wouldn't want to see them do that Spider-Man story again.
Yeah,
you know, because I was like, I didn't really
Peter
like
Parker
it the first time, and then I hated everything that followed. I hated One More Day or whatever.
Oh, Brand New Day.
Oh
my gosh.
Made me so mad. I hated it. Brand New Day, basically, in the comics Civil War, Spider-Man unmasks himself. He is loyal to Tony Stark. Everything that led up to Civil War with Amazing Spider-Man was written by Straczynski. He was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It was Spider-Man under the tutelage of Tony Stark and Iron Man, and Iron Man gave him a new suit, and he was Iron Spider, and Peter Parker and Mary Jane were living in Stark Tower, the Avengers Tower, and Peter and Tony were working together and creating all this great stuff, and I loved it.
Because Peter Parker's a brilliant
He's a brilliant
scientist
dude,
in his own right.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. And then when the Civil War came around, Tony Stark convinced him to register for the Superhuman Act and then go on TV and unmask. And all heck broke loose, and every villain that Spider-Man ever punched in the face was like, I'm gonna punch you in the heart. And they started going around,
punch you in the heart.
Eventually they were hired, the Kingpin hired somebody to take out Spider-Man or Mary Jane or Aunt May, and they were on the run. They were in a hotel room, and then Spider-Man's spider sense went off, and he grabbed Mary Jane, who was close to him, and hit the floor, and Aunt May got shot. Yeah. And nobody could save her. She was dying. She was just too old. Spider-Man went on a warpath.
Dude, he went and got the black costume?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved it.
The best part of it is when he went to Riker's Island or whatever, the prison, and
Star Trek, right? Star Trek Next Generation?
Yeah. But he went to the prison and called out Kingpin, and he was like, get out here. Yeah. And he took off his mask again, and he beat the snot out of the Kingpin, like mercilessly in front of everybody. And he's like, you've lost all your power. And he's like, I'm not going to kill you, but if you ever come back at me or my family again, I will fill your lungs with web fluid, and you will suffocate and die. Yeah. And everybody saw me beat you. And it was just like, whoa, Peter Parker's serious. Like, it was awesome.
And it
But then Aunt May died, and Mephisto shows up in Brand New Day, and he's like, I will take back time, and you will not be unmasked. Aunt May will not have been shot, but you and Mary Jane will never have been married.
Or have their child together, too.
Or, like, they're going to wipe
like he was going to take their love.
He's going to take out their love, because to rob him of that love would be the greatest attack on, and he keeps talking about him, and he's like, Mephisto wants to take Peter Parker and Mary Jane's love and future from God, I guess, like whatever. And then Peter Parker and Mary Jane's like, we'll find each other somehow, and they do it. And I'm like, Mephisto shows up, and he's like, I'm gonna take your love from you and from God.
It's one of the worst retcons.
What are we doing? Yeah. And then he goes back into it, yada yada yada. I hated it. Anyway.
I hated it so much. I stopped reading Spider-Man after that.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was like, nope, done.
Me too.
I didn't start reading it until, well, I was reading a lot of the Miles stuff over in Ultimate, but then I picked up the Doc Ock
Superior
stuff,
I love
which
it.
is really good.
Oh, Superior is what got me back on.
Me too.
Yeah.
I just added Amazing Spider-Man back to my pull for
Yay!
the first time yesterday.
Oh, that's
that must
awesome.
feel good, though.
It does feel good.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's mine. I love him. We're good friends, me and Spider-Man. We should be hanging out more, you know?
Yeah.
But Dan Slott, who's been writing a lot of stuff, it's been great. And Superior Spider-Man, I love. And I've been into Spider-Verse and all that. So
yeah, honestly, if you're not reading Spider-Verse stuff, start. Like,
check it out. And it's
so
Coy Pell,
fun.
who's one of my favorite artists. The art is gorgeous.
Well, so that's
Sorry.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
no,
that's Spider-Man.
no, that's what we do the show for.
He's my
right?
Doctor Strange.
Aww.
Well, and we need that. We need a Spider-Man.
So anyway,
expert.
I'm glad that it'll be Black Panther and not Spider-Man for that reason.
Yeah.
I also, again, we talked about this once. I don't think Sony will ever be like, yeah, take this multi-billion-dollar character. It doesn't make any sense, which is a shame, because I don't think he can. I don't think they've been handling him properly.
No, and one of the emails, I didn't write it down here, but one of the emails was that Spider-Man is literally the only franchise that Sony has. Like,
right?
Yeah.
You know, WB has Harry Potter. They've got all of DC. You know, Disney is I mean, it's Disney,
right?
But Sony is just like, we've got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
And they're not doing anything with it. So they're having a Spidey summit in January. And
really?
Yeah. Is that I missed that.
Oh, you did? Yeah. No. As of November 30th, I believe, they were planning to have a Spidey summit where all the bigwigs at Sony were going to get together and try to figure out what in the hell to do
Let's
with
reboot
Spider-Man.
it again.
So far, Sinister Six and Venom is still on the slot. Is still on their slate to move forward. So, anyway, television. We're moving to television. First of all, Cook, you started watching S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I started watching.
You and I have been on it.
You guys have been keeping up. I've really had a hard time with it. I think when it becomes a melodrama, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I think when they do stuff well, I really like it. And like the mid-season finale that was this week, right?
Yeah.
I had a blast.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
I think that was done. I thought that was the best it's been.
It's
gotten better, and it's gotten better, and now it's like...
And they'll sometimes hit a little low point, because there was like 2 or 3 episodes this season that I was like, I'm about ready to give up again. But, they've been... I may have read some synopsises, but last week and this week's episode were really fun.
Once they found the hidden city and everything and started going for it, it was we are moving forward. Yes.
So the big reveal. So spoiler alert if you haven't watched.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
So we finally know who Agent Skye is, and they gave us a tease last week because they played a song with a key lyric in it about Daisy, and it kind of came out of nowhere because it's weird. Even though we knew who her dad was, I never was like, oh no, she's gonna be Daisy Johnson. No, it didn't even dawn on me. I'm like, holy crap, she's Daisy Johnson. Quake. Who Quake is sometimes confused as being a mutant or not in the comic book.
But she is a mutant, isn't she?
I think they're retconning it to Inhuman status, but yeah.
Well, obviously so here, but like in the comic books up to this point, she's been a mutant,
even then,
right?
they thought she was a mutant. They've called that into question in the comics, but she has she has palled around with the X-Men before and the Avengers, but mainly she's with S.H.I.E.L.D. And what's great about Daisy Johnson within the comic universe with S.H.I.E.L.D., she actually goes on to become the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. after Fury. Where Maria Hill's only ever been acting director, Daisy is the youngest agent to ever become...
Yeah, she's still in her 20s.
She's super young, and she's actually the one who brings Coulson on in the comics, because they brought Coulson in after his popularity in the films, and so it's funny that Coulson actually works for her. But it is interesting to see that if they're starting to set this up, I don't know if she can necessarily ever replace Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, but at some point he's not going to be doing these films anymore.
Yeah.
So it's I'd be curious to see if they're bringing her in for a long haul story.
Oh, that could be
similar
interesting.
to what she goes through in the comics.
Because in the comics she's one of 3 level 10 clearance. Agents, right?
Yeah.
Along with Nick Fury and Black Widow.
Tough. The first, I don't really know her that much. I haven't read too much of her stuff, but I read Secret Wars with Bendis wrote, and she's brutal in that.
She is.
At the end of it, I mean, we're going spoiler town, so I'm going to do it.
Spoil away.
She uses her powers to explode Wolverine's heart.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine
she makes
attacks
a small,
Fury,
like,
Fury messes with his
earthquake,
brain, and then Wolverine realizes it and attacks him, and she earthquakes his heart, and his chest bursts.
Yeah.
And she kills him, and then like slowly like regenerates
because he's Wolverine.
I was like, oh, she burst his heart. That's
and
brutal.
I think she like gave Magneto like an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Oh,
she
yeah.
did. She was
Like,
like
I
one
can't
of the
remember
few
where that
people
was,
that
but
can...
she was like,
yeah, she knew microquakes. Like,
yeah.
She's
her
pretty
ability
cool.
to control seismic activity is just it's
Yeah.
so and to me it's almost like that's why I almost feel she's like, because no mutant ever seems to have their stuff together enough to do that. Like, she's just really great, and the way that they revealed her power this week in Agents
it was
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
really
was
cool.
really
That was a
cool.
really cool moment.
Yeah.
Like
some Romeo and Juliet stuff.
right?
Death in the Tomb.
That was
All that.
I hated that. I
Yeah,
hated
ridiculous.
that.
Me too, man.
I
that
hated
was
that.
Such
And
a
it
bummer.
seems so useless.
Yeah, I don't understand
I don't
why.
understand the drama behind it. Like,
Unless that actor was quitting to go on to something else.
Probably. He's great.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that actor.
he was great. He was great.
That was such
Are
a
we
bummer.
purposely not saying who?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we
Any-
spoiled everything.
I know, but yeah, we're not.
I don't want to spoil that.
I know, I don't.
Yeah, so-
like getting power sets are one thing. I don't like spoiling character deaths. I don't
No.
know why.
Oh, no.
Like,
Yeah.
I can tell you, like, oh yeah, she's so and so from the Marvel comics, but I don't want to talk.
Yeah, but watch it, check it out. Let us know what you
Yeah.
guys think. I know there's been a lot of we've gotten some comments like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. blah blah, like people don't like it, and I'm one of those people. Like, it took me a long, but the last 2 episodes, especially the mid-season finale, I really enjoyed. And I texted Matt when they like, I knew that they were going to say the word Kree.
Yeah.
But when they said that they're Kree, I was like, like, it's a cool thing, like that they're doing that, and it's expanding. Like, Marvel's just expanding so severely in such a fun way. And I thought this episode looked good. I thought the effects were really cool. Like, I liked it. I really liked this one.
Yeah, I loved it, and just the whole reveal at the end, and we got to see the Terrigen Mists, which was
Yeah.
cool. Like, so okay,
Hey.
so what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say that when the Obelisk Open and the Crystal came out, it was a color blue that made me think it was like an Infinity Gem.
Oh.
Like, and I don't
That's
think it
interesting.
is, but like when I
it's
first
not,
saw it, but I know, but I was like, oh, like maybe there's something tied in with that, but it was same color type.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I can see that.
You know what I mean?
but
I was just like, oh man, but it doesn't make sense because then there was another one later on, and it broke so easily, and yada yada yada.
Well, so the Terrigen crystals they're on the moon, right? The Terrigen crystals, I think they come from the moon, from the blue area of the moon,
Right.
which is where the Watcher also lives. They're hard to get. They're very rare. The Terrigen crystals have the Terrigen Mists, and when they hit water, the mist comes out. And if you're an Inhuman, it completely rewrites your genetic code and unlocks
what you're supposed
your power.
to be.
And the powers are always based on either your greatest dreams, your greatest fears, or what the city actually needs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. One of my favorite Inhumans turned into a gate that will send you anywhere.
Wow.
I can't remember his name, but he's like
Gate Boy.
Okay.
Gate Boy.
No,
But
unlike Gateway.
he's literally like a stone arch and a wall.
What a bummer.
I know.
And
What a bummer
if you
for that dude.
Yeah, but his power is to send you wherever you need to be.
Oh.
You know, you can be like, I need to go find some Kentucky Fried Chicken. He'd be like, done.
There you go.
That's
There it is.
crazy.
Send
That was
it to
always
us.
my worry, like growing up, that when I got my mutant abilities, it would be like a bummer.
Like a
Did-
really,
Like somebody be like, God, I need a pen. I'd be like, what?
you always feared.
Like, what are you, an X-Man? I'm like, yeah, I do the records.
Oh, let's do that as our question. What would be the worst mutant power?
Okay.
So that is our question for next week. Next week, by the way, will be our last show of the year. Then we'll come back in January. But next week, and not a contest, just for fun, what would be the worst?
Yeah.
Like, you go into the crystal chamber, the crystals release their Terrigen Mist.
So not worse mutant, but
Becoming-
worse Inhuman.
Whatever.
Worst power.
Yeah, worst power
Like,
that you have been given.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
you go through a genesis of sorts. You become a superhero.
You become a gate.
I know.
They become a way to send other people cool places, and you have to stay at home.
Stay in Adelan the whole time.
That's awful. That's going to be tough to beat.
And that's already canon.
Just the emotional damage that would, you know what I mean?
And
like he doesn't even get to talk to anyone. Like he doesn't get to commune. Like all he can do is listen.
I want to add a caveat to that: is try to go something like I'm not asking everyone to research, but try to go something that doesn't already exist to your knowledge, to your knowledge.
You know, my mutant power is that I can call paper clips to me.
What would you be saddest about?
I was like, no, we can't have gold balls. We already have gold balls. He's canon.
Yeah. What would be the worst, most disappointing mutant power or inhuman power? Yeah. I love it. All right,
okay.
That's how the Inhumans work. We want to talk about Terrigen Genesis, which we did.
And we're kind of running out of time.
We're running out of time, so we will very quickly say once more, Kristen Ritter is now officially cast as Jessica Jones, and it's looking good that Mike Coulter is Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I think Kristen Ritter is probably...
More like Jessica Jugs. Nice.
In from left field. I think she's perfect casting, personally, for her. For Jessica Jones. I think she's great.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the hair color, which you think I should be able to see beyond hair color.
Yeah, I don't know if they can do anything about hair color.
I know.
We're stuck.
We don't have the technology to change that.
I'm just so familiar with her on Breaking Bad that I just see her, even though I've seen her in other things.
I think that Breaking Bad is proof of how good she'll be at Jessica Jones, because there's that, like, she's got like this core heart of gold where it's great, but like
she's
she's so broken, she's so challenged, and like that's why she's like lashing out the way she is and doesn't trust people, and it's I think she's dead on.
I'm excited to see what she does.
I should have photoshopped her hair color while I was at it.
Yeah,
just do
next
that.
Well,
time.
Thanks for failing.
And then Mike.
And Mike Coulter is Luke Cage.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I am so excited.
I'm not familiar with him.
I don't know
at all.
I just his look. He
looks
so
like Cage.
Awesome.
He looks great.
And then for those who don't know, in the comics, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones get married. They have a baby. I only know Jessica Jones through the New Avengers.
Yeah, same.
I've read Alias.
Yeah, I know. That's you said. That's what everybody. But I haven't.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And in the New Avengers, they're married with a kid, or they're together with a kid. I don't know if they're married, but they're a power couple. Power couple.
Really good.
I was gonna ask.
He's a cool
do
character.
Fan casting for Purple Man.
My favorite. I have an idea. My favorite thing my favorite Luke Cage moment. He's like, I hold to a very simple philosophy. I expect everyone to be a piece of crap, and I'm pleasantly surprised if it turns out otherwise.
It's a good way.
I
mean, it's a good philosophy to live by.
That sums him up perfectly too.
I love that.
So on to the Marvel fan question from last week. This is for a prize. This is for 2 tickets to Wizard World, where pop culture comes to life.
Nice.
They have all sorts of great panels there. It's Comic-Con. It's basically Comic-Con. Just on a smaller scale, and they travel from city to city.
And it's not just comics. They have a great film, like horror TV show. They're really good. I love.
They've had the cast of Doctor Who out there before. They have a lot of great.
Yeah, a lot of great guests.
It's a cool thing, and we got
things.
tickets for you.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a lot of Walking Dead stars that go out there. So if you're a big fan of Walking Dead, anyway, so the fan question was, what would you name a Rocket and Groot buddy cop team up movie? And we narrowed it down to our top 6. The people at Wizard World helped us out a little bit. Over on Twitter, TJ Sangera said The Wood, The Bad, and The Furry. Not bad, not bad.
I like it.
Adrian Santiago said Fuzzy and Twigs, Xandar Homicide. Nick Ward wrote Groot Bang Bang. Jonathan Barry, The Good, The Bad, and The Baddest.
Wow.
Chris Whitehead wrote The Long Branch of the Law. And Marco Reyes wrote Nature's Fury. What do we think?
What was the second one?
That was Fuzzy and Twigs, Xandar Homicide.
What was the one after that?
Groot Bang Bang.
I think I like that one.
You like Groot Bang Bang?
I think so.
That's your vote?
The
Wood, The Bad, and The Furry. Fuzzy and Twigs, Xandar Homicide. Groot Bang Bang. The Good, The Bad, and The Baddest. The Long Branch of the Law. Nature's Fury.
I'm going Groot Bang Bang.
Groot Bang Bang.
That's my favorite.
All right. Meredith?
I'm torn between Nature's Fury, because I love how that sounds, but I'm a huge fan of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So I almost want to lean towards Groot Bang Bang, because I'm just trying to envision Groot and Rocket in that film now. And it's gonna...
Jatarvis, did you hear them? The choices?
Yeah, it's Groot Bang Bang.
Groot Bang Bang for you?
It's too good of a movie.
Well, but we're not doing a good Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was a good
what's
movie.
Yours if you hate
yours?
that one?
No,
so
I don't
much?
hate that one. I'm simply
What's your
saying.
vote?
I like Nature's Fury. Personally, I think that would be an awesome like Nature's Fury, and then they're nature.
Yeah.
They're nature. It's so funny.
Here's my thing. I like Nature's Fury because it seems original. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty OG.
I like original.
Yeah, I
Original's
like.
fun.
I mean, I'm also have to give some award. Some points there for originality. But but then Groot Bang Bang's a good spoof. Oh, it's so. Who's gonna decide?
Well, right now it's 2 for Groot Bang Bang.
Yeah.
I wrote Nature's Fury.
So it's really up to me.
Yeah. If you say Nature's Fury, then it's a tie, and I don't know what we do.
Everybody runs.
I know.
We all go to the event.
It's tough because if it's because I like Nature's Fury. That was what I came in liking. That
Do you
I
want
have
to
to
say
go with my
Fuzzy
heart.
and Twig, Xandar Homicide? I like
That is
Xandar
good
Homicide.
too. I do like
Homicide's
Xandar
pretty fun.
Homicide. Well, I guess
Even though they're not actually from
Xandar.
Still
But
sounds
doesn't matter.
kind of
They
fun.
don't have to live
That's where
there.
they're
They
at.
just work
That's where they're
there.
at.
Yeah.
That's where they work. So what do you?
Okay,
Meredith,
all right. All right. Let's give an honorable mention at least to Xandar Homicide.
Fine.
Okay.
I agree.
We'll give
honorable mention to Adrian Santiago.
an honorable mention to Nature's Fury because it looks like.
So
these...
you're gonna say Groot Bang Bang. That's that's fine. That's your vote. All
my
right. Nick Ward, we will be getting in touch with you. You have won 2 tickets to Wizard World. We would suggest that you find the one that's closest to you. There's 25 shows next year, so chances are very strong that there will be a show close to you. So we will be getting in touch with you. In the meantime, that's all the time we have for today.
Wow.
There was a lot of good. There were a lot of good titles.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun stuff in there. So thank you for joining us on Marvel Movie News. Again, you can catch us on iTunes, subscribe to us there, rate us, find us on the Popcorn Talk Network over on YouTube as well. You can follow me on Twitter @TheMattKey.
You can find me at @MPlaco.
@MattCook_tweeted.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for our very last show of the year. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.